YouTube comments from a video titled, "It's Not Just You." Everyone hates Starbucks now.
A Dream Within a Dream Films wrote,
Starbucks has become a symbol of capitalism in the sense that it killed all the independently run and owned coffee shops. Most of the remaining independent coffee shops serve a better cup of coffee than Starbucks.
At ViperMad 358 wrote,
People that go to Starbucks don't actually like coffee. Used to be a city thing, but once it went into the suburbs, it was ruined, like everything out there.
At A Darted Nothing Wrong wrote,
I tried to tell them that they would regret turning their back on their loyal customer base for the whims of the TikTok brigade. Very predictably, the trends have moved on, and now the people who liked what Starbucks was built around don't want to go there anymore.
A Planet Broken Brainiac wrote,
Their coffee is mid. Their workers are underpaid and severely punished for trying to unionize. Their prices keep going up, and their stores are actively hostile to anyone who wants to actually sit down for a minute. Of course, they're failing. Everything that was once good about Starbucks has been stripped for corporate greed.
At Low Orbit wrote,
First video I'm seeing from you, and I think this is the first time I've ever hit subscribe after watching one video. You're so eloquent and well-spoken. You've clearly done your research and put together a fantastic video. Looking forward to more.
At Juan Rivera 6207 wrote,
The simple fact is they have so much competition, Dutch Bros, 7 Brews scooters, not to mention local coffee shops. They used to be the trend, but the people found out other places sell better coffee for cheaper.
At Gwyn 2528 wrote,
Little internet cafes of the 90s were sweet. You could go there and meet everyone in your community who drank coffee and had dreams of becoming a professional hacker. An interesting group of people for sure.
A Travis B _ wrote,
As an avid Starbucks customer, I had spent about $300 in 3 months earlier this year. It definitely is expensive for the average consumer. It has been convenient for me because it's close to me. The other option for coffee where I'm at is either MC Donald's or Tim Hortons. The one thing I've learned is that Starbucks' ingredients for most drinks other than black are extremely high in sugar/fats. Once in a while, I'll treat myself and get a caramel macchiato. I will say, though, their nitro cold brew is probably the best black coffee I've had. I couldn't buy that taste anywhere near me.
At Diversita Life wrote,
LOL all the hippies that preach buy local stop at Starbucks before the farmer's market. I don't always buy overpriced coffee, but when I do, it's usually from a small or family-run shop. Why shovel all that money into one heap? Spread it out a bit and get an actual smile from someone that loves what they do.
At Minivan Muse wrote,
4 stores within 20 minutes of my place have closed. The only ones left open are drive-through, and the staff is totally overworked and stressed out. I admit I buy 5 drinks per week, but I'm learning to make my own thing at home. This sucks. Mostly I am sad for the young people who are losing their jobs more than myself, who can just make the coffee at home.
At Jackal 2568 wrote,
I don't know how it is elsewhere, but in Oregon we have so many local coffee chains that are going national and are way better than Starbucks. Dutch Bros, Human Bean, and Black Rock namely. Tons of other small drive-in independent coffee huts as well. I don't know anyone who regularly goes to Starbucks.
At Evil Bunny 28 wrote,
Starbucks was a breath of fresh air into an oversaturated coffee market. It was one of the first to bring European espresso-based drinks to the U.S. market. As you mentioned, prior to Starbucks, U.S. coffee was just filter/drip style you'd find at every diner across the country. But now espresso-based drinks are everywhere, and the novelty of adding flavored syrups, which was once a Starbucks specialty, is also everywhere too. Now all you're left with is mediocre coffee at ridiculous prices. I'm glad people are finally seeing Starbucks for what it is. Go local and support your independent coffee shop. You're keeping money within your community and creating a great social place for people to meet, all without lining the pockets of a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
At Anonymous Vibe wrote,
Starbucks has always been a weak player to me personally, overpriced and bad quality in comparison to other brands in the Netherlands. Often inconsistent with qualities ranging from bad to downright awful. Always wondered what the pull of said shop was. Perhaps just good marketing hoarding in the sheep folk, or maybe they are just bad in the Netherlands and very good elsewhere? It has more been a shocker to me that they lasted so long.
At Unanimous Delivers wrote,
o'clock, everyone hates Starbucks. 12 o'clock, nobody wants it to go back to what it was. Dude, make up your mind. Do people want new Starbucks or old Starbucks?
Sarah Kajira wrote,
Starbucks' story is a bit like Tesla, a company with problems who were kept afloat by loyal coastal liberals. Then, they pissed off their core customer base who had ready alternatives elsewhere.
At Icy Bunny 4931 wrote,
I absolutely enjoy sitting down in a coffee shop and enjoying a mug either friends. I still try and sit at Starbucks if I go, but if I go to the coffee shop maybe 10 minutes more away, I get a higher quality coffee at same or lower price. I remember when I was younger my favorite thing was sitting in a Starbucks, get on my old laptop, and start typing away in a document feeling like I'm some acclaimed author. Sadly, yeah, Starbucks lost the magic and independent stores do it better.
At William Rents 6933 wrote,
I used to be obsessed with Starbucks when I was in middle/high school. For some reason, it was ridiculously popular in the early mid-2010s. But now I only go because of the convenience. I much prefer to go to local coffee shops.
At Jessiec12 wrote,
Used to buy Starbucks all the time because their drinks are so good, but I haven't bought a single thing from them for a year and I have no intent to return. A drink is already like $6 and they ask for another $1 po and T25 just for them to add flavor to it or change something else about it. It got to the point where only 2 items came out to about $16. Companies need to accept the fact that they're not going to make money if no one can afford their products.
At Emily902 wrote,
I love going to local cafe and finding new ones in a new place. I usually only chose Starbucks as convenience because they're open really early and usually always 5 minutes from where I live, even when I move.
At Charstar 386 wrote,
When you said Starbucks wasn't in your future except for airports and train stations, same as me. I don't want to risk buying a bad or mediocre drink while traveling, and at Starbucks I know what I'm getting. At home though, I only go to the best, coziest local coffee shops.
At Abba Harper 8752 wrote,
I've never been a huge coffee gal, but I remember hanging out in my local mall, and the Starbucks was always popping. It was tucked into this cozy corner with lots of seating and calming music. But since then, they moved the Starbucks location to a busy corner of the food court with no seating, not atmosphere, and makes me want to run in the opposite direction.
At Amethyst Studios 6967 wrote,
The most hilarious thing about Starbucks for me is that the moment both me and my friend found out about a local cafe in our area, we immediately swap to them if we want coffee. It tastes better. It's in a corner of a shopping center, so it's away from the road, which makes the place much more quiet and calmer. The choice of music is much more relaxing, and the interior felt a lot more welcoming and local. Even if we want a frap, we get it from MC Donald's. That's how much Starbucks lost its place in the coffee world for us. And honestly, I'm glad.
At Crunchy Cereal 42 wrote,
I work in Midtown Manhattan. The coffee is so freaking expensive, and nothing they're doing it competitive and new. There are so many other places I can go that better.
At MRRD 4444 wrote,
I was buying from Starbucks every single day until the boycott. Quite frankly, unless you live somewhere with no cafes at all and only a Starbucks, they're very easy to boycott.
Mr. Gorcock wrote,
As a coffee drinker, I just never understood leaving the house without having a cup of coffee, only to sleepily wait in line, to then pay $8 for a coffee. Now fam, I need that dose within a half hour of waking up or nothing is getting done.
At Daisy Granada fanpage wrote,
It's hard for us baristas because they closed the store closest to us, and now we get double the customers. The morning rush instead lasts for 5 hours, and we have 30-minute waits for drinks and angry customers filling our cafe. We've had to turn off mobile orders because we have 50 plus drinks in queue.
At Melancholy Starfire wrote,
I would always get the Vendi iced chai latte W/cold foam. It was my great grandmother's order. It went from being a $5 drink to a $10 drink, and most of it is for ice. Alright, so I order no ice, and the baristas aren't allowed to give you the whole drink. About a quarter is missing, if not a little more. They also forced a strict dress code on their employees, and I know it affects their will to serve. No piercings, no cute outfits, just a corporate coffee drone. I hate it because I knew the blue-haired baddies would make my drink with love, and now it all tastes so bland. IDK if that makes sense. I went to Dunkin' the first time a few months ago and get their large iced chai, and I can sip on that for an hour, and sometimes can't finish it. I don't feel like I am being cheated and need to order no ice to have a good lasting drink. I can add extra chai plus cold foam for $7. Comparing Starbucks large to theirs, I took my business elsewhere. Even then, $7 is pricey for a coffee, and I've excused it because of the size. If I have time, there are two really nice local coffee shops I'd go to in a heartbeat. My first choice has a 20-30 minute wait, and I do it for how delicious their chai latte is. Plus the price. So good. Even then, I no longer have that disposable money to blow on coffee/chai teas. I also only get them if I have to travel far, or genuinely need an extra boost. I will settle making a nice cup at home. It tastes good if not better, and I have more cups than if I went out every day.
Corringman wrote,
Recently visited a Starbucks cafe in Georgia with my mom, who is a long-time Starbucks customer, but we had the cumbersome experience of towing a trailer with my car. I parked in the only nearby area I could. The lot was microscopic. We walked up to the doors, only to realize the place was having their staff meeting, and as such was locked during normal business hours. One employee inside rolled her eyes at me and started giggling from inside. I gave it one last shot, walked up to the speaker box to order. They took an order in front of me, then I walked up. Their cameras went off. The speaker made static for less than a second, indicating their headset was connected. I said hello. Hello? Waited 20 seconds, then said screw it and walked off. While walking back to my car, the woman inside full out pointing and laughing at me and my mum for attempting to order from her employer. I hope this place fails now. My mom's now a former long-time customer of Starbucks, as I suspect many others to be.
At I999 G2S wrote,
Starbucks is worth $90 billion. To keep that valuation in the stock market, they have to keep growing revenues and profits. The former means higher prices or increasing market share. The latter means squeezing costs, including staff. Seems like the only way for Starbucks and success to be associated with each other is to short the stock.
The Fat Blue Crab wrote,
I go to a local coffee shop every day. They always give me a discount or just don't charge me at all. The business-to-customer relationship is something you could never get with a big chain.
At Monscheinstaub wrote,
I'm from Hamburg, Germany, And even though I'm a millennial who was flooded with Starbucks influencing during the early 2010s Tumblr/Vesco/hipster era, I never really got its appeal. The drinks are overly syrupy and painfully sweet, hardly coffee anymore. They've always been expensive, and the stores have never really been welcoming to stay imho. I think in general most Western, South, and Middle European sentiment goes much stronger in a direction of a cute, maybe even unique cafe, where you meet your friends and have a nice chat, while sipping on a cappuccino and eating a piece of cake slowly. Quite in fact, I hardly find an open table in a cafe anywhere here in Hamburg on a random Saturday or Sunday afternoon. Every cafe is always packed and people are desperate to find a place with open tables. It's really a struggle. I don't see this culture dying anytime soon. Yet Starbucks is quite forgettable and considerably more expensive than other coffee-to-go shops here.
At Angeline6477 wrote,
I'm from the Seattle area. Whenever my friends from college ask about Starbucks, I'm like there are thousands of better independent coffee shops in the area. That's where most people go. People from Seattle don't really like Starbucks, even though it was founded there. It's not mentioned in the video, but Starbucks shoved Tully's out of business in the PNW a little while back, and I know that frustrated a lot of people. Howard Schultz sold the Supersonics and people are still mad at him for that. Seattle is also more progressive, so a lot of people in the area are boycotting Starbucks because of its union busting and support of Israel. It's not a good sign if a business can't be loved and respected in its hometown.
At Orwell with Alma wrote,
I stopped going to Starbucks about 7 years ago. The prices were crazy. What really did it for me was changing the extra for a splash of almond milk in my doppio. You can put milk or cream for free, but almond milk is an upcharge. Fouta here.
At Sampiano6605 wrote,
Or how about, and hear me out, they lower the prices of their coffee? These parasites Aka shareholders would rather let their golden goose die entirely than settle for having less eggs.
and Nalan wrote,
They've abandoned everything that made them likable a decade ago. They treat their employees like garbage. They don't give back to their communities. Their prices are exorbitant. Their incentives program keeps getting diluted, etc.
At Carrie Dowdle 1578 wrote,
I prefer Luckin over Starbucks any day. It's $2 and tastes better in my opinion. Also, some locations do have seating, although it's minimal. Starbucks does have one drink I like here that I do buy occasionally though. Source: I live in China.
At Farstar 483 wrote,
Lots of nonsense, sugar, hardly any coffee. Ema a coffee lover, not just caffeine rush. In parentheses 2025 they should've said forget reishun, we will keep low prices, but no up to dollar parentheses 7 point parentheses 00 fook then, and their grand diabetes.
At Dallaflores wrote,
I literally hate this company so much. 3 years working here, and it is probably some of the worst experiences of my life. Please, stop purchasing from this place for your own health and well-being.
At Hippie Hoppo Skip It Up 5792 wrote,
You get better benefits if you work there than if you would have if you were a customer. I would know because my mom works at Starbucks and she gets free food and gets drinks every so hours.
At Allison Pike 54 wrote,
Why would I go to Starbucks when there's a local coffee shop 10 steps from my apartment that's more inviting, better quality, the same price, and more closely aligns to my values?
At It's Militime wrote,
I work at a local 7 Brew and already people are leaving Starbucks behind and swapping BC. Our rewards are better. The drinks are cheaper and don't taste burnt.
At Spoons 923 wrote,
The draw for me for Starbucks is it's the same everywhere. They should focus in on things like on grocery stores, in airports, in train stations where I'm rushed and tired, and would rather just spend the $4 for a nitro I know than go to a cafe or make another detour to the MC Donald's to maybe save a buck or two.
At Prince of Ashish 9831 wrote,
I used to spend $20 every week on Starbucks, but not anymore. This is just insane that $8 for a cold coffee and taste like 90% sugar syrup.
At Alfonso Show 8962 wrote,
A small independent coffee shop is no competition to Starbucks. But when your service/product declines, it allows now tens of thousands of independent coffee shops to pop up and snag those customers. Now that makes a dent.
At TheCraft Galaxy wrote,
I remember when Starbucks first opened locations in my area. My friend at elementary school felt cool for discovering Starbucks first in class and drinking it for breakfast or lunch. But then she noticed other people buying the glass bottles of Starbucks coffee, and she was like, hey, everybody is copying me. I didn't care. I mean, in hindsight, when something turns mainstream, you can't gatekeep it anymore. And Starbucks lost its novelty at some point with so many open locations. When I realized how much sugar they put in their food, I decided to avoid them unless I was super hungry and wanted to quickly grab something while I was at Barnes and Noble's.
At Jamil 101 wrote,
Used to work at Starbucks and now potentially going back due to desperate times, but I only like their store-bought coffee at a grocery store or their non-coffee drinks. I always knew a coffee place that has shitty coffee was gonna die out soon. I'd rather recommend Big B coffee. It's way better and way less options. It's so good to me, I order a liter of it on Olive because there are no shops around me. Starbucks will never be like that.
At Wes 89 wrote,
I've never known gone to a fast food restaurant. I ate at MC Donald's one time during a storm, but that food is hilarious. Like WTF is this? For 2x the price, I can make 5 gallons of ramen.
At Celia Ramirez 4118 wrote,
The menu they have also needs improvement. They've had the same menu for a long time. As a customer, I've always wanted to see new items added and for the prices to go down.
At Lavender B 3611 wrote,
I broke the Starbucks habit long ago. It used to be a great place to spend some time catching up with friends and felt special. They once had real cups. Drinking an $8 coffee out of paper is insulting. I used to really love some of their pastries, but they changed bakeries and ushered in low-quality goods. Then came a glut of solo people hooking up their laptops and spending hours at a table, which meant it became difficult to find a place to sit and talk. The few times I've stepped into a Starbucks in the last 10 years has been underwhelming. Their coffee drinks are pretty average to boot.
At Jacqueline 6807 wrote,
I completely stopped going to Starbucks when they stopped giving free water and also changed a bunch of their uniform policies, etc. I never was a Starbucks customer or fan. Years ago, I went there sometimes and the drinks were always too much sugar and mid. Recently, someone bought me a refresher from Starbucks and it tasted awful. I also feel like their drinks got even worse quality, just went downhill.
At Drizzen's 6836 wrote,
It's horrible. I order a black coffee and they make me get in queue with the prepared drinks and wait until one barista makes all these stupid lattes before I can get my basic black coffee. Also, there is never anyone at the frickin' register. They are cleaning behind the counter and don't even acknowledge you. I went into my local Starbucks a few days ago and said, "Excuse me," to the barista who was wiping down one of the back counters. She said, "I'm not ready yet," and ignored me. It took 10 full minutes to get a black drip coffee. Sorry, Starbucks, I'm done paying a premium for crap service. A drip coffee should take no longer than 1 minute from order to my hand.
At Percival Derolo 6195 wrote,
I would like to add there was also boycotts for Palestine while they were already declining. I think that very much affected sales, at least where I live as well. I'm not American, so I can't speak on if it impacted the American market, though.
At Percival Derolo 6195 wrote,
There is a small coffee shop I frequent on the same block as the Starbucks in my city. It's always 10 times more busy and full of people than the Starbucks.
At Boyd EV wrote,
I stopped going to Starbucks when my iced coffee went from $2 PO in T95 to $4 PO in T95 within the span of 5 years. Again, a basic iced coffee, no syrups, milk, crazy.
At Lilb 643 wrote,
Yeah, how about they stop being so stingy about people asking for light ice and giving them a half-ass amount? Sorry, I'm busy and can't sip down my drink down fast so it doesn't get watered down.
At Jerkle Cabbage wrote,
Starbucks is the Applebee's or TGI Friday of coffee houses. It's too expensive for price-conscious people who will just go to a normal fast food place or just make stuff at home. While the more affluent will go to some far nicer independent restaurant that doesn't cost that much more. Who does that leave for a customer base?
At Optimistic Pessimist 9724 wrote,
There's a Starbucks on my campus, and I would go to get my water bottle filled since they had ice water, normally for free. But the last time I went, they told me I had to buy something to get the water bottle that I own filled with water. 30 seconds of time? Literally no resources used, and I have to spend money? That's absurd.
At Ross 173 wrote,
When they hired their new CEO and gave him that crazy high salary and reported he lives on a beachfront in California, and the company gave him a private plane at his disposal to fly into work anytime they needed him at the office, but then mandated a return to office for their other office workers, I stopped going to Starbucks and deleted my app. I'm not paying those crazy prices so they can union bust, force people who didn't need to work in office to return to office, and pay for some rich, lazy white guy to seat in his beachfront property and live his jet-setting lifestyle. F that. I'm not going to pay for anything from these corporations anymore if I can help it.
At Carrie Daniels 8460 wrote,
Never really got he hyped TBH. It wasn't anything special. Especially ANY of the food. It's as if folks never had a local coffee shop in their lives. Spending crazy amounts on basic coffee or diabetes-inducing milkshakes they call coffee with that bitter instant coffee crap. Peel legitimately would eat that daily, which is crazy. Then folks started to realize how easy it is to make a milkshake at home. Sugar is cheap, folks. The coffee they use is dirt cheap for those milkshakes. Just stop by a local shop FFS. You'll get better quality everything and do yourself even better by making some coffee at home.
At Natalie Esidoic 9920 wrote,
It's funny because when I was in high school before the pandemic, Starbucks was the place we all went and hung out. The pandemic hit during high school for me, and it basically became a place close to my shitty H's job that I could fuel up on before my shift. It really has gotten so expensive, and some of the specialty drinks seem just like a sugar rush. I really only buy it when it is the closest coffee shop to where I am at on my college campus, and the fact I can use my meal plan there. My friends and I rather go to the more local shop just off campus to hang out because the coffee quality is better, and it is just more inviting. I wonder what these companies will do as the middle class shrinks in the US. What will the U.S. consumer culture look like in 5 years?
At Runcher 101 wrote,
At least for me in Taiwan, Starbucks was always a if you have extra money to be fancy spend. The only times I would go is if they had buy one get one free deals. Same with MR Brown coffee. Nowadays I go nowhere near Starbucks and stick with Louisa Coffee, MR Brown if I have extra money, or mostly local cafes when I'm there.
At Max Meister 8185 wrote,
It's almost like we should have outlawed public stocks a while ago. The stock market is what creates the behavior, and no one thinks to nip it at the source and make changes to the stock system. Starbucks is another victim and evidence of the stock market causing problems by the wealthy at the top.
At Nikoyasa wrote,
Starbucks in Innsbruck opened their first location about 2 years ago in an amazing tourist location, so I'm surprised it didn't work out. But it recently just closed without any notice, and looks like nothing was ever there or it was still open a week ago.
At Well 2420 wrote,
I will forever go to an independently owned coffee shop over Starbucks any day. The coffee will be better, and I really don't care if I have to pay an extra $1, and at this point you're not even paying an extra $1 because Starbucks is $7 for a coffee.
At Jacqueline Arts wrote,
Was briefly a Starbucks employee, and I got the vibe it was a cult. Also, they expected me to learn literally every in 2 days. And when I asked if I could keep a recipe card because I have ADHD and can't remember well stuff like this, they said it would ruin the vibe.
At Miranda's 7742 wrote,
I mean, they shouldn't be surprised. Local coffee shops are making a resurgence, bringing higher quality, lower prices, a lower wait time, happier employees, and respect on all sides. Starbucks can never match that.
At Giasemi 55 wrote,
After spending hundreds, maybe thousands at Starbucks, they told me I couldn't use the bathroom because I didn't buy anything on that particular day. They were dead to me at that moment.
At Eufendwaldo 77 wrote,
They have consistently made poor business choices that choose profits over customer satisfaction. It's simple. Stop being a greedy penny-pinching corporation and listen to what your customers want, and you will succeed. Support local coffee shops instead.
At Chizevino and Wine 4560 wrote,
I don't think that's all, even if it is a big reason. Last week, I attended to a pro-Palestine demonstration, and when we passed by in Starbucks, everyone was yelling at them to get out our town. People is choosing other alternatives just for the image of the company. It's not that cool anymore to go there, and with more ethical/local/better options, why spend money there?
The 7 Crikey wrote,
I used to be a barista for Starbucks and loved making the drinks, but the thing that killed it for me was the ingredients. Very shitty ingredients. Like literally the oat milk, for example, tastes good for sure, but has canola oil in it. Canola oil causes bloating and brain fog, which is not what you want if you're trying to wake up and be thinking good. Local coffee shops are doing well because they can have better options and healthier ingredients.
At Cole Stevens 1375 wrote,
Only talking about the union busting and boycotts in a passing mention feels pretty negligent, tbh. Starbucks suing its union over expressing support for Palestine was a huge deal. I'm Gen Z, and at least in the spaces I'm in, everyone I know has cut out Starbucks, and there's even become an association with going there as being a scab. That shouldn't be understated, I think.
At David 4509 wrote,
I got sick of ridiculous prices and bought an espresso machine. I make my own coffee at home now. Much cheaper. Still tasty. Plus, I'm now the beloved barista among friends.
At Jason 256 28 wrote,
I still enjoy Starbucks' caramel frap though. Sometimes while I'm having university classes in Monash University, Malaysia, I go to Sunway Pyramid nearby to get a drink from Starbucks to enjoy the sweet taste of coffee. This week I went to Sunway Pyramid and noticed that Starbucks was shut down.
Olive Green wrote,
I don't hate Starbucks. It's just the whole economy is sucky. No one has any money for anything. Not just Starbucks. No one drinks out anymore. No one goes to clubs or eat out. Or dine in. Or fast food, no one does anything anymore.
that the Dragon King J1J wrote,
Most of the time, I make coffee, usually Folgers, at home. If I want to go buy coffee from a coffee shop or wherever, I'd go get some from MC Donald's if their coffee machine and whatever is working.
At Ray H4X7G wrote,
If you've been a Starbucks customer for more than a decade, you'll remember getting a Starbucks and sitting down in one of those super comfy armchairs that you literally cannot find anywhere any longer. Why would anyone go into a Starbucks now? They're all super uncomfortable to hang out in, and the now CEO, who, in my opinion, is an idiot, has decided to ban a ton of foot traffic in their stores and even put up signs on their restrooms for customers only. The brand is cooked. Will Starbucks survive their absolute failure to transition? Yes, they probably will, but you will not see one on every street corner any longer. I frequented a few different Starbucks locations before and after the new CEO, and I can honestly tell you that frequent customers have literally deserted Starbucks. The new CEO literally killed a horse that needed a little time to rest. The last year or so is his fault. One quick note. The point about China lifting 800 million people out of poverty is not exactly what you think it is. The term poverty in China does not mean the same thing as what it means here in the US. If someone has a gig job, whether part-time or full-time in China, the country says they are no longer in poverty. In the US, you have to pass a substantially higher monthly income level to no longer be labeled as in poverty. Even if you live on the street in China with a gig job, you're not in poverty according to the government there. They haven't lifted 800 million people out of anything except living on the land.
Pinkerton 999 wrote,
I've literally haven't had Starbucks for like a few years now. I refuse to. I don't care how desperate I am for coffee, I will never buy for SB again.
Joey B. Fit wrote,
We visited so many Starbucks locations while in California, and none of them actually let you sit in the Starbucks anymore. You can only take it to go. That's really sad.
At Kim Leone 5496 wrote,
Well, I don't hate it, and I have friends and family that work there, but it is mismanaged. The prices have gotten too high. From what I see, most people are looking for a better job, but jobs are tight.
At Oddstarmer 557 wrote,
In this economy, people are looking for value in what they buy now. There are plenty of coffee shops near my college that provide what Starbucks no longer does, a third space, and are cheaper with better quality products.
At FF Lappin wrote,
They become just a vending machine, with vending machines tasting coffee, which not worth the price point. For Starbucks price, I go to a real coffee shop.
At Irabani wrote,
I went from living in a very rural/countryside area, so it wasn't pretty uncommon to see Starbucks for me until I moved to a city in California, and I was grossly appalled at just how many there are. In a mere TWO mile radius, there are six them. Right next to each other. Why? That's just a 2 me radius, mind you, it's worse than that. But that just paints a little picture for you. There is absolutely no need for that Starbucks, you filthy company. Thankfully, the local business here that I see are doing so much better than these stores. I also hear one of the Starbucks is closing down near me that deserves a purchase of coffee at my local coffee shop I love so much.
Colette Peace wrote,
I watched this while drinking Turkish coffee at home. I go to a Starbucks in my neighborhood every 1 to 2 weeks. I do use it as a third place, and I've met a few friendly people there so far. I usually try a different drink each time, and some of them gave me an upset tummy or caffeine jitters and heart palpitations. I wish the free refills applied to more than just drip coffee and iced tea. I like how I can order drinks in regular glasses and mugs again, rather than takeaway cups.
At least 7026 wrote.
Not to mention their stupid reload system, so you always have to spend more money than you actually need if you want to buy anything using the app.
At Florin_Plantman wrote.
Love to see it. Their coffee is an insult to good coffee and $8 for a cup that costs $2 in a mom-pop cafeteria. I dream to see more people support local business instead of multinational corporations.
At Inner Music wrote.
I don't think Starbucks is the problem. People just are completely out of money. I have absolutely zero disposable income right now. That's why I'm not spending $7 on a coffee.
At Sunflower 1399 wrote.
Just a personal observation. Starbucks in Mexico are very inviting, make you want to socialize and stay a while. Starbucks in the US are quite sad in comparison. Also in Mexico, there are a lot more food options.
At Sergev 6438 wrote.
TBH, after seeing this, I was reminded that the worst thing I dislike about late-stage capitalism is the fact that everything becomes about making more and more and more. So much that it then loses its purpose of existence other than money.
At Thecklonely Imp wrote.
I stopped going there 'cause they're evil. They have a terrible track record of bigotry. Not to mention they remodeled my local Starbucks in a way that made it feel less welcoming. So now I don't even want to hang out there anymore.
At Orange Soda 8313 wrote.
As a kid, there was very few places to get coffee where I lived, and my family never really went out often. But going to Starbucks as a child in the early 2010s felt very unique. The atmosphere was cozy, soft colors, those super cool abstract designs on the wall and the cups. It was so much fun, and it was a treat to go there. Now I can hardly go into the store since it changed so much, and it reminds me of a hospital waiting room now. It's sad.
At Billy 2 Moto wrote.
I ended up switching my brewing method to a mocha pot about 3 to 5 years ago. Complete game changer for me. Mocha pot coffee is so good, at least I think so, that it drastically reduced my desire to get SB.
At Stash the Vampede 1524 wrote.
Lol, okay, so just close them. Don't bring your prices down so that your quality comes into question less, since people feel that they are getting a deal. Starbucks is barely better than Dunkin' these days, so why are they $4 more per drink?
At Psychonauts 0 wrote.
The only time I ever go to Starbucks in the modern day is when I'm on vacation, and I don't confidently know where else to go for a fast coffee and a breakfast sandwich. Glad to see them go.
At Epidote wrote.
8PONT99 for a chai latte that tastes like warm milk will do that to you. I also worked at Starbucks. They absolutely do not care about their employees and treat 99% of them like trash, unless they would go above and beyond their duties for the same wage. Terrible company.
Classic Tycoon wrote.
I used to defend Starbucks because their coffee was actually really good. Slowly over time, I started to notice certain Starbucks were starting to taste off more time passed, and I can no longer get a drip coffee from Starbucks. Not just because it's expensive, which it is, but because it tastes terrible.
At Soxer Mommy and PC wrote.
Here in Oregon, Dutch Bros slowly took over because it was cheaper and they had more variety. And although the variety is still there, the prices are nearly Starbucks prices after over a decade of growth. Now nobody can afford any of it in general. Starbucks ruined their reward star system a few years ago. Now it takes forever to earn anything worth cashing them in on.
At Indie Sunflowers wrote.
I'm surprised by the fact that you didn't mention that Starbucks is pro-Israel, which is a huge reason a lot of people stopped going. They basically tried to boycott Starbucks, and it seems to have worked.
As Sierra Brook 515 wrote,
I hate drive times. It's hard when there's 60 million people in the cafe and drive-through, and they all order 10 million drinks and order something at the window. I hate drive-throughs.
As Sierra Brook 515 wrote,
The issue is they are trying so hard to be a cute ma and pop little coffee shop, but they aren't and will never be. They want to return to their old shops, but it's too corporate now, and all the buildings feel like a hospital. I think the only good one is Pike Place. Never been, but just assuming.
at Shuriken002 wrote,
I was a partner at the only store in Delaware to get shut down despite having the highest customer satisfaction and record-breaking sales during the summer. They shut us down the 27th with only 2 days' notice and told me the 28th I was no longer employed after being lied to about being transferred. They sent us a severance package that's basically just 2 weeks' pay that we probably won't see until November. I loved my store and the community we served. I made a lot of friends there, and it was gone in a weekend. I hope Starbucks goes down in flames.